Hola amigos y bienvenidos de nuevo. Hoy vamos a hablar finalmente sobre los adjetivos que vienen antes de un sustantivo. O sea, en inglés, adjectives that come before a noun. Okay, so forewarning, this presentation is kind of long, but it's not a difficult concept to really understand, right? The reason the length is because I'm giving you all of the adjectives that we're going to be working with and kind of what they look like. All right, so not a bad trade-off in my book. Here we go. So adjectives that come before a noun. Obviously, we have already learned about our adjectives that follow the nouns that they describe, right? And now we're going to be learning about some adjectives that come before the nouns that they modify. Y dice debajo, recuerda, remember, adjectives must agree in gender and number. Always, always, right? Okay, so vamos a empezar, right? First ones we're going to look at here is bueno y malo, good and bad. So first and foremost, this little note over here on the left, it says bueno y malo. They drop the O before a masculine singular noun. For me, it kind of reminds me of our indefinite article, un, right? We know uno is one, but if we're talking about one book, for example, it becomes un libro. Right? So same rule applies here. We drop the O. So bueno is good. We see a few examples here. Este niño es un buen estudiante. We have su hermana es una buena estudiante. Ellos son buenos estudiantes y ellos tienen buenas maestras, right? We see this matching in gender and number, right? Singular masculine thing, singular masculine adjective. Singular feminine adjective, and so on and so forth, my friends, right? This is elementary. Here we go. Malo as well, this is bad. And here we go, the same thing, right? We dropped the O for our singular masculine, right? So, ella tiene un mal perro. She has a bad dog. Su amiga tiene una mala idea. A bad idea. Her friend does. We have ellas tienen tres malos gatos, or they have three bad cats, said nobody ever. And then the bottom one says son malas situaciones, or those are bad situations, right? If you're a good friend, you'll point that out to your friends one day, right? Okay, so that is bueno, that is malo. Like I said, easy peasy. Now, it is important to note that bueno and malo, well, they can technically follow a noun as well. However, it's not used as frequently, and the description loses a bit of its intensity. So, for example, if I were to arrange the sentence as el hombre bueno, instead of saying the good man, that order would kind of suggest the fairly good man. See what I mean? It's minor, but there is a difference, right? Okay, let's look at some adjectives that express quantity. Right here. All right, and we're going to start with mucho, which is a lot of, much, many. All right, so here we have a few examples here, always matching in that gender and number, right? So we see, él no tiene mucho dinero. He doesn't have much money or a lot of money. Tiene muchos amigos, or he has a lot of friends. Or ellas preparan mucha comida para muchas personas, right? We see that matching in gender, mucha with comida y muchas con personas. All right, so on the flip side of mucho, we see the opposite, which is poco. It's a little bit of, a few, not much, not many. And just like before, we're still keeping up matching in that gender and number here. So our first example, we have hay poco dinero en este banco y pocos clientes. All right. So poco matching up with dinero y pocos matching up with clientes, right? All right. For my feminine forms, we see poca gente vive en esta calle y hay pocas casas. All right, so pocas matching casas here, poca with gente. So there's few people living in this street and there are few houses, right? Another thing that it honestly makes me think of is my favorite song from the movie Coco. Maybe you remember it. It was Un poco loco. Awesome. Okay, well, moving on. So still keeping in with that line of quantity, we see the words that mean enough. We have two of them. You see either bastante or suficiente, okay? So here are a couple of examples. They're pretty interchangeable. I would say that, to define them between, I think a good way to remember bastante should have something that follows, okay? So something that follows, right? Some type of noun, like bastante dinero, enough money, or bastante trabajo, like we see here, enough work. And while suficiente can have something that follows as well, I think it just naturally sounds just as well if it stands alone. All right, so can stand alone as well. So like if I were to say, like, your love is enough, you know, tu amor es suficiente. That sounds a little bit more natural than tu amor es bastante. Bastante gives me that meaning like it's enough what? You know, it's enough, it's exciting enough, it's, yeah, it just feels like you have to have something after it, okay? So minor details. But let's look at a few examples here. We have ellos ganan suficiente dinero, or they earn like sufficient money, enough money, or y tienen bastante trabajo, and they have enough work. So they're living large, feeling good. All right, so looking down at ambos, which means both, right? So España y Portugal son bellos. Spain and Portugal are beautiful. Los viajeros van a visitar ambos países. They're going to visit both countries. And I don't have one written out already, but I thought we could do one together. Of course, we do have the feminine form, right? So instead of ambos, we would see ambas. So if I wanted to say something like, I like both movies, I would build that like this. It would say, me gustan ambas películas. Right? There we go. Simple as that. Okay, so we're still in the realm of quantity, except this time we're looking at cada, which is each. And the good news is you guys have already seen this word and worked with it multiple times in the past. So just a refresher really, cada means each. So we see a few examples. Cada casa tiene dos baños. Each house has two bathrooms. Cada apartamento tiene una cocina, or each apartment has a kitchen. So it tells us right here, it says, ojo, cada has the same form for masculine and feminine. In other words, it doesn't exist in any other way. It just is what it is. So easy on you, my friends. All right, moving on down to varios, or several. It's a nice little cognate, kind of like various. We do have a masculine and feminine form here. So, unos ejemplos, varios restaurantes sirven tacos, or varias tiendas venden burritos. Cool beans? Awesome. Okay, now we get into, actually this is one of my favorites, and probably one of the most widely used ones. So in the past, we have talked about expressing this word some here with our indefinite articles. So we have the plural masculine unos, or we have the feminine form of unas. And while that's true, they both do mean some. I would say alguno is much more widely used. Okay, so we're going to be practicing replacing that unos or unas with our alguno form. Okay, so here we go. We see a couple of examples here. We see, él va a volver algún día. What did you notice about algún here? What's different from alguno? I hope you caught it. It's the same note as before. Check it out. I'm coming down here now. Alguno drops the O before a masculine singular noun. Just like our words bueno, malo, and so on and so forth, right? All right, so good deal. So we have él va a volver algún día. He's going to return one day or someday. We have a question. ¿Hay alguna farmacia cerca? Is there a pharmacy nearby? Algunos, in the plural, pensamientos son buenos. Some thoughts are good. And on the flip side, algunas ideas son malas. And some ideas are bad. All right, good job, my friend. We're coming close to the end. All right, here we go. So this time around, we are looking at other or another. This is my otro. So, a few examples. Él quiere otro carro. He wants another car. Ella quiere otra casa. She wants another house. La abuela tiene otros problemas difíciles. Grandma has other difficult problems to worry about, essentially. And the last one here, mi primo va a comprar otras cosas. My cousin is going to buy other things. All right. And little amendum here. Obviously, we're not in person if you're watching this. I'm not going to give it away, but there is a typo on this slide. If you can find it and message me and you get it correctly, I will add 3 points a nuestra casa, to our house, my friends. So one typo, it's yours to find. Okay, so something that's super important when it comes to otro, right? We have the different forms, otro, otra, otros, and then otras. The words un and una, my indefinite articles, guess what? Never, ever, ever, ever come before otro or otra. And I'll tell you why that's kind of important. We tend to think of another, right? And so when we're translating in Spanish, we try to bring in that or that a portion into this word. But just know, otro stands alone by itself, and it does so wonderfully. Okay? All right. Moving on along. This is another one that we have seen before as well, and we're pretty used to using it. It is todo. This means all or every, super similar to my word cada, right? Very close to that. Cada is each and every, todo is all and every. Okay, so here we see. Marisela lee todo el día, or she reads all day. Todo el mundo está aquí. That means, this is really good. This expression here, todo el mundo, mark it, write it down for yourself. This is kind of a way to say everyone, okay? It literally translates to the whole world, essentially. But in Spanish, it's just how we colloquially say everyone is here. Todo el mundo está aquí. All right, that'll make you sound like a native. All right, moving on. We see leo toda la información, or I read all the information. Mi abuelo lee todos los días in the plural form, y mis primas hacen todas las preguntas, or they make or answer all the questions. Okay. Right. Coming up to the penultimate slide, one more after this, my friends. We're finally moving on to adjectives that express next, only, and last. So, próximo. This is next, obviously. And we're still keeping in check with that gender and number, right? Vamos a viajar el próximo año. La próxima lección es interesante. And then in this question down here, we see both plural for masculine and feminine. ¿Qué va a pasar en los próximos años y en las próximas generaciones? Ooh, question of the year. What's going to happen in the next coming years with the next generations? All right, that's you guys, right? All right, here we go. Last slide, my friends. Oh, and how fitting, right? Último, last. I wonder if I did that on purpose. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so here we go. We have único, which is my only. We have our feminine and our masculine form, and it's only singular, right? I mean, we don't have a plural form of these. It's the only one, right? Singular. So Ricardo es el único mexicano aquí, or Ricardo is the only Mexican here. And then we have ella es la única española, and she is the only Spaniard. Perfecto. Y último, last and final. We have el último mes del año es diciembre, or the last month of the year is December. Y hoy es la última clase del semestre. Today is the last class of the semester. Yeah, y ya es todo. That is everything, my friends. Like I said, long notes, easy content though, right? Okay. As always, if you have questions, let me know. You know where to find me. And apart from that, I hope you have a really good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Adios, amigos.